don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 285th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. As always, producer Kate is at the controls, making sure everything runs smoothly, and we would love for you to do the YouTube things if you could, please, and thank you.
You made a new button and didn't tell me?
I did.
You little turd.
I did. It's right there. I've been experimenting with a couple things because I'm going to get out of telling people to like the channel and shit like that. So I want to try to smooth things up and make it a little bit, as we get closer to 300, it's going to be a whole brand new show around here. We're going to be trying some things out in the next 15 episodes or so. So when we get to 300, we can be like a smooth running operation. What a joke. Hit the buttons. You know what to do. And if you don't by now, well, something's wrong with you. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you've had a good weekend. It's been a beautiful weekend. It's been a wonderful weekend, a beautiful weekend. The trial was over and the jury returned its verdict, not guilty of car theft, pronounced the judge. The defendant looked up at the judge and asked, does that mean I get to keep the car? When I was a police officer, let me tell you this story. Quick little Bilbrey story time. When I was a police officer, I had a kid who had saved up a lot of money and he wanted to buy a Camaro. Loved Camaros. The old style Camaros, not like the newer Camaros, but the old style. And he had saved up some money and he bought this car. And he bought the car off of a car lot. He drove this car for 3 years. And when he was driving down the road one day, some asshole T-boned him. Didn't do much damage, but did a little bit of damage, and it needed to go in to get some work done. And when they took this car in to get some work done on this car, the dealership had this thing, which I've been a car salesman at a dealership. We didn't have this, But they did this thing, and when they were trying to order parts, they noticed that the parts that they were ordering based off of the serial number, when it came back, it was the wrong part for the car. And they did it again, and it was the wrong part for the car. So they entered it in, and they came back that this car was reported stolen. So they called the police. That's what I said that we didn't have. Like, we couldn't have known if a car was stolen or not at Gaddis. That's kind of a crazy deal. We'd had to call the police. Anyways, I don't know what the deal was. Maybe one of the guys called a friend that was a cop or something. Maybe that's what the deal was. Anyways, they had said, hey, we've got a stolen car here in our facility. And so patrol had done the report, and this kid was trying to get his car back, and they wouldn't let him have the car. Of course, we had a hold. We wouldn't let the dealership release the car. And I went and picked the kid up, brought him in, questioned him. He was of age. He was 18, 19, something like that. Still lived at home with mom and dad, but he was an adult. An adult. And, you know, we were not getting anywhere with this kid. The kid seemed like he didn't seem like he wasn't a criminal. We weren't getting anywhere with him. And so we actually called dad in because we thought maybe that dad had done something hinky. So we called dad and told him that we had the kid. And the dad came in and was like, these people were like, you know, Snow White, you know, just pure and good and whatever. And it ended up, what had happened was the guy who had reported the car stolen had reported it stolen like 6 or 7 years prior. So this car had been stolen for a long time. Insurance had already paid the guy, you know, that had reported the car stolen, and everything was already good from his end. When we called and told him we had the car, he was like, what? He came in. It was really crazy. He was like, yeah, it was just parked out in front of my house, and one day it was stolen from Indianapolis. He was like, it was stolen, and, you know, we never heard anything more about it. And so basically what had happened was whoever stole this sold it to a guy who then sold it to another guy who then sold it to this corner lot who ended up selling it to the kid. And what they had done was they had went through and they had taken the VIN number and replaced the VIN number up by the window, and they had replaced it a couple places on the car, but I didn't know this at the time. I'm not a car guy, but there are lots of other places, you know, I know this now, obviously, but there are lots of other places on the car where the VIN number is. And so that's how they had found this. But it was a big, horrible deal. Sucked. I don't even know why I'm telling you this story. What started this story? Something big. I don't even know what's going on. Oh, hey, I'm doing a show. Wait, what's going on? Oh, never mind. Oh, yeah, it's the joke. Ha! It was the joke. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So at the end of the deal, the guy whose car was originally didn't get the car back because insurance had already paid them. The kid who bought the car, he didn't get to keep the car. They had to like turn it in and deal something with their insurance. Like nobody got the car. I think the car ended up going to the original insurance company, and then they would have to fight with like the kid's insurance company. That's the part of the thing that made me think about that. Because the kid who worked really hard, that's the moral of the story. Bottom line is, if you work really hard and do the right thing and you don't cheat and you're not a bad guy, that you can be driving along, minding your own business, doing the right thing, probably on your way home from church or on your way to work or on your way to deliver kitten babies, from a burning fire. And some asshole can pull out and hit you, and your whole world can fall apart, and you can lose your Camaro. So that's, I would say, Danny, that's your internet all the way out there in the middle of Dannyville, USA. I don't know, bro. You might try to get us on Facebook or X if you have that possibility. I don't think anybody else is having any kind of issue. Is anybody else having issue? We're certainly not having issue here. I'm not having issue here. Let me check up on my phone to see if we are having issue here. I don't believe I'm having issue. Everything looks fine to me. Looks good from my house. I always hate when I get commercials, my own commercials, and I want to skip them, but I can't do it. I simply cannot do it. It says it's going to play the video soon. Yeah, no, we're clear as a bell here, Danny. You might check with your internet provider and make sure that you paid your Bilbrey bill this month, this day, this week. All right. No, I didn't. What happened? He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Tweety Bird said, "Did you hear that?" No. Yeah, I heard. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Not much, but just a bit. You people come here for news. The news starts here. Isn't that? I think that's the tagline of a show. Tomorrow's news today. I think that might be InfoWars or something. We might steal that from them. All right. So, last week was a busy week. We did our little recap, kind of just chill session on Friday. Did that from my grandparents' home, the Bilbrey plantation, the Bilbrey estate, and did that. Had a pretty good weekend. We've got a busy week planned this week. We've got a lot of things, a lot of discussion to have, a lot of political commentary that we're going to get into. Maybe we're going to have a guest or two. We will see what we've got scheduled away this week. We'll see what happens as far as meetings go. We've got the Delaware County and Randolph County Commissioners meetings tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Very important to pay attention to what's going on with that. We've got a Winchester City Council meeting tomorrow evening. That's Monday. Tuesday the 17th, we've got a Madison County Commissioners meeting at 10 a.m., I believe. Then Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., Board of Works, 11:30, Muncie Sanitary District. Thursday's the big meeting that I'm going to attend this week. This week, ladies and gentlemen, the big meeting that I will be really concerned about. That's the Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting at 9 a.m. We'll be following that, seeing what's going on there. This is the schedule of horseshit, the horseshit schedule. That's what this part of the show is considered. to just get it out of the way so we're aware, we obviously are 51 days away from the Tuesday, November 5th election. That is 51 days away from the election. That's going to be here, folks, before you know it. I cannot even comprehend it. $13, $14, $15, $16, $17, $18, $19, $20, $21. We're 22 days away from the deadline for voters registration. 22 days away. So you can see at the bottom of your screen, the voters website is down there. www.indianavoters.com, indianavoters.com, indianavoters.com, www.indianavoters.com. You have until 11:59 on Monday, October 7th to register to vote. 11:59 on Monday, October 7th to register to vote. It takes 3 minutes or less. It's very easy. I went to this website last night and I actually ordered 4 absentee mail-in ballots for 4 family members who wanted help with that. I helped each individual family member, and we did that. It's very easy. So that's also a place that you can go if you want to do that. I would recommend going in person. We'll do a big long thing specifically here in Delaware County, probably Delaware County, Madison County, Henry County area, about where the polling places are as we get closer to election day. So we will definitely cover that. But yeah, some polling places in basically all those areas have changed. So keep that in mind. You do not have long, 22 days. So people be like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And inevitably, one of those people, 2 of those people, a couple of those people will call me on election day and be like, I can't vote. And we don't have time for you to be doing that this year. This is too big of a deal. So get that figured out. If you need help, contact us. We will do what we can to help you. Ironically, in a way you can kind of keep this in your mind is the very next day, on Tuesday, October 8th, early voting starts. So you have until 11:59 on Monday, the 7th of October. And then early voting starts on Tuesday, October 8th. So please make sure that you do that soon. Along with this thing being up here, I have to determine which way to point. I do also want to let you guys know, obviously, live broadcast. For those of you watching live, it's Sunday, September 15th, 9:19 p.m. Eastern. That means we are 258 days. 258 days without a response from Muncie City Councilor Dale Basham. I just don't even have really any words for that anymore. That's where we are. 258 days. It's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. And we need to do something about that. Clinton says the horseshit schedule, and he says he means the 9 a.m. meetings. Absolutely. beyond all shadow of a doubt. Beyond all shadow of a doubt. Any meetings that are scheduled for when the majority of the people are at work is nonsense, horseshit, bullshit. It is done in a way to attempt to keep people out. It's done so in a way to attempt to stop transparency and accountability. Let me tell you something about this. This pool float back here has been inflated since at least 2008 or 9. And it's kind of a deal. Like, we just move it from different room to different room. Like, we could easily just deflate it and fold it up and put it someplace. But I'm like, no, I'll stick it in there. And I'm going to tell you, yes, he did. Yes, he did. I don't know if it's a damn good float or it's damn good air. It's probably damn good glue holding the float together, sealing the material. Yeah. Ejack wants to know if GW's listening to he and his wife's conversation. No, but I am. I'm listening to you all. Not only am I listening, but I'm watching every one of you too. So, no, you know what? It's going to be filled with nitrogen. Here's the thing. I literally have before me detailed plans that I have been writing up basically since perception is reality, for how I want to create a studio in a different area. And we are getting closer to doing this. I'm going to design a little bit of a set, and when I do set up the set, I promise you that this thing is coming with me, and we will have it there in the corner. It will be there because it's that, along with Fern Shelby. We'll have Fern Shelby with us too. You know, and I sometimes I think, like, when I look at other shows and I see their really nice background, and everyone's like, you just got a bunch of junk piled up behind you. You know what I do? I spin around and I look at all of this. I spin around and I look at all of this. And I see nothing but a bunch of hard political work. Because I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, every bit of what you see back here is files. It's all record requests, documents. It's all just a bunch of crap. And I could get rid of it, but I'm like, why? I might need this. So, David asks, who's going to the commissioners' meeting and calling them out on their lies? I am going to attempt to be there. I should be able. I don't have anything scheduled. I should be able to be there. We're not going to live stream the meeting from here. It will be live streaming on the county's YouTube. We will go through the meeting tomorrow night, however, but we just won't live stream it here. But I am going to attempt to go. My real fake name says, hello, everyone. Hey, everyone. You're all welcome to come to the Jonesboro River Rally this coming weekend. Stop by the Grant County Libertarian Party booth to visit with Donald Rainwater. Come show your support. So that's Jonesboro River Rally is in Grant County. What are the hours for that? Hours and days, if you could. Hours and days, if you could. You know, I'm not really a hoarder, but I'll tell you what I've done. I'll tell you what I've done. Be careful, the FBI might raid my secret documents. Yes. I will tell you what I've done. Back when I was fighting the Winchester battle, I would request records. I would find out what I needed, and then I would use them in the way that I needed them, and then I would throw them out. And then 6 months later, I would be like, oh, I need something. I requested this once before, but I would have to request it again. And so pretty quickly, in that Winchester fight with the VOA, with Sean Byram and all of that, I quickly realized, when I request a record, I probably don't want to throw it out. And so what I used to do is I used to store it. I used to store all of my stuff in their own little individual files and yada, yada, yada. And then what I determined I would do is, no, I'm just going to start a box. I'm going to get a box, like a file box, and every record I request, I'm just going to lay on top. And then the next record I request, I'm going to lay on top of it. And so what I started doing is I started filing them by year. And at the end of each year, I would get all of the documents, no matter where from, Henry County, Winchester, Muncie, and I would just have this great big binder of things, and I would bind it together and I would store it away. And now I know, and you wouldn't believe, there have been times I've had to go back through this hoard of crap and dig it all out and find something. And you know what? Or someone will call me and say, hey, do you remember when this happened? And I'm like, yep, I've got that. And so it has come in handy. So, yes, in answer to your question, yes. Politically, I am a hoarder. Absolutely.
I think you may need to give me those boxes so I can create indexes for you.
That would be amazing. That would be that's hilarious. Okay. So this the episode titled tonight. I titled tonight's episode Sick of It. Oh, before we get there, we've got this in the overlays. Jonesboro River Rally, September 26th through the 29th. You'll buy the entire seat, but you'll only need the edge. The 26th is a Thursday. Vendor setup, 6 p.m. appreciation dinner, 7 p.m. Pat Mitchell Memorial Ride, accepting donations for family of Jeff Fields. Registration and release forms must be signed before ride, open at 6 p.m. Friday the 27th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., Andy and the All-Nighters, all right. 8 to 9:30, Anthony Ray Wright Band. And 10 to 12 a.m., that's a party, Karen Ware and Friends. Woo! All right. That takes us into Saturday the 28th, where from 7 to 10 a.m., the Jonesboro Fire Department breakfast, of course, located at 6th Street and Fairmount Avenue. That's awesome. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., register for the Moto Rodeo and Bike Show, located at 4th and Main Street. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., register for the Sound Wars, located at 7th and Main Streets. 2:30 p.m., judging commences for the Bike Show. 3 p.m., the Moto Rodeo Presbyterian Church, located at Parking Lot Main and 6th Street. 2 to 3 p.m., the Fierce, whatever that is, but you better believe it's fierce. 4 to 5:30 p.m., If You Know, You Know. Okay. So, If You Know, You Know. From 4:30 to 5:30. 4 to 5:30, If You Know, You Know. That's amazing. 6 p.m., Bike Show and Moto Rodeo Awards at Main Stage. 7:30, Sound Wars Awards at Main Stage. We got to remove that thing so I can see what's going on here. Okay, 8 to 9:30, Live Wire. Oh, that's cool. And then 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., 13th floor, Indy's hottest rock band. And then Sunday, the 29th is 10:30, Christian Motorcycle Association, CMA, church service. So that sounds fun. And then 11 a.m. is the Waldo Ride, leaves Jonesboro and returns to the event. So that sounds pretty freaking cool right there. Check that out if you're in the area. And, basically if you're in East Central Indiana, you're in the area. So definitely check that out. I believe the Indiana Donald, meaning the Donald Rainwater, our friend, is scheduled to be at the Libertarian Party booth all day, both Friday and Saturday. Confirmed/unconfirmed. So check that out if you're interested. We will talk with him and find out. Yeah, they don't sponsor the show. We're not sponsoring them. Just sounds like a pretty cool little party event going on. Sounds like a fun thing to do. Sounds like it'll be fun. So, rock and roll. Yeah, all right. So that brings us to tonight's show. Already at 33 minutes into the show. We're finally going to get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, so I was writing a post. I actually was sitting down over the weekend. I took Friday day off, and then I was on Friday night. Didn't really do much. Didn't have much of a show Friday. Just kind of babbled and talked like a lot of other nights. But it's fun. We love you. You're here. You were here. It was a fun night. Saturday, took a lot of the Saturday off. Saturday afternoon into the evening, we didn't have a show, but I was working on making some shorts and putting up some shorts out of the Rainwater Town Hall and doing some things there. and I got a really good short out of the Rainwater Town Hall, basically where he's going over, the fact that it's simple. There are two choices. There are three candidates running for governor of Indiana, but you really only have two choices. Your choice is between Braun / McCormick or Rainwater. Basically, Braun and McCormick are the same. It's the same thing. The Republican and the Democrat in this case, it doesn't really matter. And so I was writing this post up as I was sharing. I was sharing the post, and as I was writing, I just kept writing and getting more enraged and more enraged. And I was like, that's what I'm going to talk about Sunday. And amazingly, it kind of goes in line with what the breaking news of today is. The whole deal with the second assassination attempt. So, I just kind of thought, yeah, we'll go back over this and we'll talk about this deal. So, I agree with Rainwater wholeheartedly. That it's put the presidential debate out of your mind and put the local, the presidential race out of your mind, rather. Put the local races out of your mind. Just think, for those of you here in the state of Indiana, think about the gubernatorial race, the race for governor of the state of Indiana. It's simple. There are only two choices. We can choose, really, for the first time like ever in the state of Indiana, to vote for, to support, to push a real live candidate who speaks of and who acts, who backs it up with his actions, who acts the act, and he walks the walk, he doesn't just talk the talk, who talks and acts of freedom and liberty. That's Donald Rainwater. Or you can vote for Braun or McCormick. And Braun McCormick, it's the same thing. Braun McCormick, it's the same thing. And I mean, like, be honest for a moment. Aren't you sick? And I know that anyone out there that are Democrats are going to be like, yeah, yes, I am. But I'm not even really talking to the Democrats for a moment. I'm talking to the Republicans. I'm talking to the farmers out there. I'm talking to the people who just get up and want to be left alone and consider yourself to be Republicans. You're an Indiana Republican. Are you not sick of the half-assed fake Republicans? The fake Republicans that act more like Democrats than Republicans? And Democrats that used to be Republicans? I mean, for the Republicans out there, for those of you that consider yourself Republicans, I'm sick to death of these fake-ass Republicans running around that don't have an understanding of what the First Amendment is. Cannot tell you why the Second Amendment is important. Can't read past the Fourth Amendment. Probably couldn't tell you what the Fourth Amendment is. Doesn't know anything past the Fourth Amendment. That's all they know. Just barely enough to sound cool. Really, they sound like idiots. But the only thing worse than those people are these Republicans that have jumped ship and now they're Democrats. Like McCormick, who's like accepted with open arms in the Democratic Party. I'm like, wait a minute, she used to be a Republican. The only thing worse than that are these Democrats who used to be Democrats who now say, well, we're Republicans now, like James King and Bradley Bookout and those type of people. I am sick to death of these half-assed fake Republicans that act more like Democrats than Republicans. And the Democrats that used to be Republicans and are now some hybrid mix of a Republican or a Demlican, whatever, rhino, dino type of deal. And then there are the Democrats that are so far left, so crazy, whacked out progressive, they've come back around again and wrapped back around left again, that regular Indiana Democrats are like, whoa, that's too crazy for me. But I'm not just diming out the Democrats and hating on the Democrats. It's also the Republicans, the freak show Republicans that are so whacked out right, I'm sick of every single one of them. And I know that you people have to be as well. We are a state full of Republicans who haven't done a damn thing. Establishment idiots that are only concerned with the next win. And you can do one of two things. You can say, okay, I'm gonna go the whole Jack route. I'm gonna say, all right, I'm not voting anymore. It's broken and anarchy. Or you can try to fix this because most of the people in power, they suck. They all suck, I agree. But there are good people out here. We all have people next to us, a friend, a family. You could run. You could be something. Are you a bad guy? If you're not, then decide that you're going to do something to fix it. It's time to kind of give it the Hail Mary vote. Just throw it up and say, all right, you know what? Rainwater might not win, but he's definitely not going to win if no one votes for him. If we allow them to talk us out of voting for someone, do you know how many people say, I love Rainwater. I like him as a person. He sounds intelligent. Everything he says makes sense. I love him. I wish he could win. I'm like, well, are you going to vote for him? Man, no. Why? Vote for him. Listen, I'm all in on Rainwater. I'm all in. Now, I'm friends with him. I am a personal friend with him. But I can be a personal friend with someone and not support them. I can support them as a human, support them as a person, but I there are people that I'm friends with that I don't support for office. I'm all in on Rainwater because I have listened to him. He's intelligent. His shit makes sense. But even more than that, for all of you like Troy Tackett's that run things called Political Project Uncensored, but really it's censored, and who just continue talking to the echo chamber, for the Dan Ridenhours and the J.D. Prescotts and the Scott Alexanders and the Matt Kanses and the many more people like that. You all know who you are, that talk the talk. You talk about liberty. You talk about freedom. You talk about the Constitution. You all claim to be Republican. Open your eyes. Look at the Republican Party standing around you. The county and the state and honestly the national level Republicans, if you're being honest, they are not what you claim you are. Let's just take Matt Kantz. Matt Kantz is a massive supporter of the Second Amendment. He goes out and plays with the police all the time and goes out and does shooting and runs through these courses, and he puts on his his little AR gun, and he runs out there and he does these little drills, and he shoots from inside the car and through the windshield, and he slides over the car, and he does all these wonderful things, preparing himself, training like people should do. Second Amendment is not just about collecting guns and having them under your bed. It's about knowing how to use the thing. It's about being able to pull the trigger when you need to. It's about knowing how not to when you shouldn't. All right? There's a lot that goes into the Second Amendment other than just having a gun and looking cool. Most of the people that say they're into the Second Amendment will more than likely, if the shit hit the fan, be killed by their own gun. Because they don't train, they don't know, they don't understand gun retention, they don't understand what it takes to really be about the Second Amendment. I'm about the Second Amendment. I train, I've trained, I shoot, I've shot. I will do so more in the future. All these wannabe, pretty boys out here that don't really walk the walk. That. They talk about the First Amendment. Everybody talks about the First Amendment. Look, Sheriff Beeman's on our side. He's on our side. This person, that person. There was a whole room of people around Catherine the other day. Only one person spoke up, and that was Sean from the audience. And then he got shouted down. I'm telling you, if I was in that room, they would not have shut me up. They would have carried me out of there, but they would not have shut me down. Catherine was not in the wrong. I would not have been in the wrong standing up for her, and I would have done it. Period. Point. End of discussion. You can be friends with John Beeman all you want, but he was in the wrong. He did the wrong thing. That's what I'm talking about. Troy Tackett, Scott Alexander, Dan Ridenhour, all these fake Republicans who think they know about being Republican and think they know what it means to be constitutional, but yet they bow down when the shit hits the fan. They're fake. Half of the Democrats at the State House are more constitutional than the Republicans because they're fighting for the First Amendment. And they're getting beat by the Republicans. What sense does that make? That is nonsensical. That is all fake. So the Republican Party, if you're serious, if you open your eyes, they've left Matt Kantz, and you've either got to say one. Scott Alexander isn't a Republican like I am. Scott Alexander is a fake Republican. He talks the talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. Dan Ridenhour talks about being libertarian. That's the most laughable crap I've ever heard. I don't care what you have to say. Actions speak louder than words. And listen, I'm not saying Libertarian Party's it either, because listen, the national and even the state level Libertarian Party, they're just as screwed up, if not more so, than the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. That's the problem. All this nonsense about parties, it's not about parties. It's about beliefs. It's about individuals. It's about personal beliefs. It's about liberty and freedom. That's why I can be friends with Audie Barber and support Audie Barber, and we can have conversations, and he can be a Democrat. And I can support him because he is constitutional of mind. He believes in personal responsibility. He's not trying to change who I am internally because he might believe something different than me, We can have a conversation. We can agree or we can disagree, and we can agree to disagree. But I don't need to change him, and he doesn't need to change me. And at the end of the day, he meets me constitutionally in nearly every box that I check. You couldn't tell the difference between he or I writing a thing, and that doesn't make me a Democrat, and that doesn't make him a Republican. It is about belief. It's like being religious. All these people out here saying, oh, yeah, I believe in God. I believe in God. You know, the Bible talks about being lukewarm. I'm talking about real men and real women that believe in something bigger than Todd Houston, something bigger than Russ Willis, bigger than Jessica Piper, bigger than Ed Carroll, bigger than the HRCC, bigger than getting hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars donated by a bunch of cucks hoping to cuck the next idiot, all for some far off distant taste of power. It's like they're buying into the biggest pyramid scheme of all time. The Republican Party. Dung, trademark. At the county level, to state level, to national level, the world level, universal level. Republican, 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 Republican. Are you brainwashed yet? And look, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a progressive. I'm not a liberal. And all those names, Democrat, progressive, liberal, they're all freaks. Republican, right, you know, uber conservative, they're all freaks. They're not people. It's all nonsense. It's all just word game, word nonsense. People didn't talk about all that crap. You just lived a life, and you let your neighbor live their life, and you did what you needed to do. You didn't have to talk about it. It's like that thing they say, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's what it is. But this is Indiana. You know, we don't have Democrats to deal with here. I mean, here, when an elected official or an appointed official or a candidate pisses you off, when they say something dumb, when they do something wrong, when they act a fool, 99.9999% of the time, it's a Republican. Or it's a Democrat that used to be a Republican. Or it's a Republican that used to be a Democrat. Some kind of hybrid thing around a Republican. What a joke. So, yeah, vote for Braun. Screw it. Vote for McCormick. It's all the same. The government is not going to change in the state of Indiana. It's like this thing with Biden. Where's Biden been at? Basically, since he dropped out. Since Biden dropped out, has anything with the country stopped? Has the mail quit running? Have you quit getting paid? Have things ended? You know, is the electric going out? Is the world over? We don't have anybody in control of the country. Who's in control of the country right now? And it don't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. The president thing is a figurehead. The governor is a figurehead. We are going to be the same in Indiana if it's Holcomb or it's Braun or it's McCormick or if Beckwith is in the number 2 seat or if Gooden is in the number 2 seat. It's all the same. It's all the same. Tweebird says, I see the Republican Party splitting into 2 groups. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't see that. I see the Republican Party being the same old, same stagnant thing. I don't see the Republican Party splitting into two groups. I see the Republican Party and what is some kind of bizarre grouping of Democrats here in Indiana melding into one. And people who are like, oh, I'm not into this. They're pulling away. And then they're just out here floating, or they call themselves libertarians now, or they call themselves constitutionally minded, or whatever. I have no desire to be part of the Republican Party. If you're truly sick of it, and God, I don't know how you couldn't be. If you're actually same of the same shit, different day, different week, different month, different season, different year, different decade, if you're fed up, you've got another choice. In the state of Indiana, you've got another choice. Everybody's like, well, I don't like Trump and I don't like Harris. All right, then leave that out of your mind for a moment. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about Trump. I don't care about Trump at the moment. We'll get to the Trump crap here in a minute. I'm talking about if you're a Hoosier and you're in the state of Indiana, you're going to go in and you're going to pick between Braun or McCormick. And whichever loser you pick is going to give you the same loser results. And you're going to be a loser, and it's all we're going to be losers, not Hoosiers, losers. We're the loser state. You have a chance right now to pick Rainwater. Look, I don't know. I've not talked to him. If he doesn't win, I doubt he runs next time. Not because he shouldn't, not because he's like a loser, but or a poor sport, but just because it's hard and it's like, you know, look, I've been here. I'm giving you all I've got, and you're obviously telling me you don't want me. So I imagine he probably won't run again. I've not even talked to him about that. We hope that we win. I think he's going to win. I'm saying he's going to win. He might not. I understand it's politics. It's the way it works. I get it. I'm not insane. I understand what we're up against, what he's up against. But you, as voters out there, listen, so many people, the people that agree with me, the people that disagree with me, Republicans, Democrats, people that are in the Republican Party that I like, people that are in the Republican Party that I don't like, everybody says the same thing. Everybody's fed up. And this is the first time, really, it's the second time, this election, 2020, we've got a chance to do something different. This is what kills me about voters, about Hoosier voters, loser voters. We're going to go back in and we're going to pick Braun or McCormick. You're going to go in and you're going to vote for Braun or McCormick. The Hoosier voter is going to go in and pick between Braun or McCormick. And it doesn't matter which one of those people wins. It's going to be the same thing. You could pick Rainwater. You could do everything you could do to make sure other people pick Rainwater just for a change. You know what? He's not going to be any worse than what we currently have. He really, honestly, couldn't be. So if he gets in office and he's just a total whack job and he doesn't live up to anything he promises and he's awful, then we'll boot him out in 4 years. Look how long we put up with Holcomb, and we've survived this. So just give him a chance. Give yourselves a chance. Or go in and say, I'm ready to eat the same old shit sandwich. You know, it's like insane to me. I'm ready for the power to stop. Rainwater's in a position where if he's elected, he has to keep his promises because he's the wild card. Yeah, that's right. Kate's right about that. I'm sorry. I've been off screen. I know that you guys have been commenting. I've not been ignoring you. I will go back and hit these. But I want people to think about stuff. I mean, that's what I really mean when I talk about being educated and really understanding what you're doing. I don't mean like being educated and then go out and pick the same way it's always been. You know, I'm a conservative. That means I'm Republican. I'm gonna go pick the R. Wait, GW, I want to make sure you're what you're saying here. You said I can't bring myself to vote for Ron or McCormick. The only pick I have with Rainwater is his lieutenant governor said they support.
The only icky part of Rainwater.
Okay.
They meant ick.
Well, yeah. Well, so in fairness, when she says they, I mean, she can't speak for Don, and you've heard what Don said. And if you didn't, we had a really good question on the last town hall. I think it was question 2 or question 3. If you haven't heard it, you need to go listen to it because he speaks about this very, very clearly, what he thinks about it.
I just popped on to say, and really here in Indiana, it's really bad because you don't even have to think any further than, do I identify as a Republican and a conservative, or do I identify as a Democrat?
Yeah.
Because I can walk in that booth
and just, press R or D.
And press R or D, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't even have to think any further than that. So you want to talk about uneducated voters? Straight ticket.
That thing.
That's your uneducated voter. Sorry.
That thing kills me. That is absolutely kills me.
But it was nice to see in the last election. I did not know this. We had libertarian candidates on the ballot.
Yeah.
You can pull a straight L.
You can't. Yeah.
Which I did not know.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to learn. I did not pull a straight L, by the way. I bullet voted, as I always do.
They need to get rid of that straight party vote. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You can go down and vote. If you are an idiot and want to vote for all Republicans or all Democrats or all libertarians like that, you can go down and select every single one of them. Just, you should have to do the work.
Yeah.
You should have to put in a little bit of work.
Button.
Yeah.
You should have to push the button. And we have an entire freaking month of voting in Indiana. So it's not like they added that to, help speed up the line.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't take that long to vote.
Yeah.
Pull your little and go through and push. And who knows? Maybe as you're going through and reading everybody's names and pushing the little R's, you'll read one of them and you go, oh, that guy's a total dick. I can't vote for him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it it blows my mind to think that people like, and the thing is, like, people like JD Prescott put on their surveys, do you think that straight party voting in Indiana is a problem? Should we look at this? Should we do something about it? But then they never do anything about it because they're not going to do anything about it. You know what I mean? Here's what we need. Here's what we need. And this is the thing. This is the thing. It's nothing ever gets taken care of in an election. You got to look, to me, the people of Henry County, the people who were fighting the wind and solar down there, they need, like, I wish a documentary crew would go in and do a documentary about what they did. They had candidates that they considered establishment candidates in the commissioner's office, the council office, and the clerk's office, and in city government, and every facet of government. And the anti-wind people came together, like the people in Gaston, like the people in Royerton. But man, they didn't just come together for solar. They came together and they attended every meeting. They packed the house always. And then that very next election, they put up candidates to run for whatever offices were up. And they cleaned house on those offices. And then the following year, whatever offices were up, they put up new candidates and they cleaned house. And then they took a break because they had the year break. So nothing happened. So that whole year, nothing happened. And then the following year, they had the other election and they cleaned house. It took them 4 years. And they held together for 4 years, over 4 years. But 4 years of running for office. And after 4 years, they cleaned out every position in county government. And they then had the say of the government. It can be done. So what we need to do here in the state of Indiana, I'm telling you, to make things better, we need Rainwater or someone like Rainwater in the governor's office. But that's not it. And we're too late. The ship has sailed this year. But in 2 years, we can put new people in the state house. But it's going to take a lot of work. And you got to start right now. You can't say, well, we can rest until that election season. No. You got to start right now. And you got to get wins where you can. And then in 2 years, you got to do it again. And you clear out a few more people. We've got to take the power away from Todd Houston at the State House and the HRCC. That is what we have to do. We have to do that. We have to do that. It is very important. It is very, very, very important to do that. Okay. We had a question about Rainwater's solar. I'm going to play. I want people to go in and watch all of the Rainwater town halls. We've got 2 of them under the belt, and there are different questions on each of them. So far, we've answered between 8 and 10 questions a show. So, and plus with our interviews, Rainwater's done more. We've had more time with Rainwater than any other program going. I put everything in the description. Let me tell you what we've got going. We've got, by October 17th, we will have 3 town halls. We have two long format interviews. Plus, I think we'll have a 3rd long format interview. And there are 5 interviews, like hours-long interviews, each hour and a half each time, from Perception is Reality, and I've put them all in there. So there is a lot of time that if you're interested in learning about literally every aspect of rainwater, and if you're somebody that don't want to just hear what he's got to say now, you can like literally look at him over the course of about a 4.5-year stretch and see, does the things that he say, does he hold true to it? Does he waffle? Does he change? I'm going to play this just this question and this answer, and then you guys, this will be a little sneak peek, and then you guys are going to have to go back and listen to the whole thing, but here's this. Very good. All right. The second question we have is coming from, we actually had a couple questions that were very similar from a couple different people. So the second question is kind of a combination of questions from Lynn in South Whitley and Russell in Rensselaer. And the question is, we're concerned about wind, solar, carbon capture projects that a lot of Hoosiers are hearing that are trashing rural Indiana. These are their words. Holcomb has sold us out as Hoosiers. Foreign companies continue to buy our farmland and put the farmland under solar and wind and other green energy. What can you do as governor against predatory practices by these wind and solar companies being pushed by state and county governments to protect rural homeowners and farmers who are neighbors of properties that have signed wind and solar leases? And what are your thoughts about carbon sequestration? Kind of a big question there, but
yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. A lot of things there, all packed into one question. Let me see if I can unpack as much of this as possible.
Sure.
And so let me start with, first of all, I believe that much of the wind and solar activity that is being engaged in is questionable at best. I think that there are a lot of concerns about
always
the infringement on property rights, how these deals are looking good on the surface, but when you look at long-term environmental concerns or other issues, I think we need to take a much closer look at wind and solar, and for that matter, at carbon sequestration. But this is actually a symptom of a bigger problem. And so let me talk about the bigger problem for a moment. I believe that our state government is either through intent or through lack of thought eliminating our family farmers in the state of Indiana. One of the things that we need to do is we need to reduce the regulations on farmers so that they can farm. For example, I had a farmer come to me when I was at the Johnson County Fair, and he said, I had a friend that wanted to do industrial hemp. He went through all of the licensing and all of the application process and paid all the fees and grew the crop. And in the end, he was told he had to convert the crop to hemp oil in order to sell it. And it was just too much for him.
Yeah.
He ended up taking a loss on the crop because of all of the state regulations. And those regulations aren't there for what's best for Hoosier citizens. Those regulations are there to create barriers to entry so that large corporate entities can benefit from industrial hemp without the competition of the family farmer. And we see this over and over and over again. And if we want to reduce the number of family farmers who are leasing their land for wind and solar, we need to get our government under control and make sure that the family farmer can farm their land. This is first and foremost should be our priority. Now, I do strongly believe that if we can create wind, solar, I being in the Navy, I'm a big proponent of nuclear energy. I believe that if we can have aircraft carriers and fleet ballistic missile submarines, that flew off my tongue when I was younger, folks. I'm sorry. But if we can use nuclear power to power naval vessels safely, and we have for decades, then we can use it. There are like 669 nuclear power plants around the world running safely and cleanly. And so I believe that we need to avail ourselves of every energy opportunity that can be done safely, cleanly, and that is not going to erode people's property values or create a negative impact on their neighbors. Right now, we don't have that. And as the question said, what we have is government pushing this,
Yes.
which usually indicates they know there's a problem and they want to get it in before people find out.
Yes.
So that to me is indicative of a potential issue.
Well, I just want to take a moment and just tell you that for the citizens of Delaware County listening to you this evening and will be listening in the future, you definitely have made a lot of people in Delaware County happy with that answer. Okay. I also want to say that there was a comment up there a little bit ago that talked about, there's not, no issue with private solar, but it's corporate solar where there's the issue. Look, there's a space probably for corporate solar. There's no reason why corporate solar couldn't approach hospitals to put their solar on top of hospitals, on top of parking lot structures like they do at the Kennedy Library, things like that. And look, there are probably spaces of land, places. There are probably large areas, large acres of land somewhere that corporate solar could be a fit for. It cannot be fertile
Industrial
farmland.
parks. They create industrial parks for industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure.
They don't put them on farmland.
Yeah.
So create an industrial park for them.
Yeah. Yes, Clinton, you're the carbon they want to reduce. Have babies. Absolutely. That is very true. That is very true. So if you're interested, obviously you know where to find that town hall. It's very easy to go find it. It's on this channel. You can clearly find that easily. There is also one more town hall event, which will be Thursday, October 17th at 7 p.m. Submit your questions for that to the Rainwater website at rainwaterforindiana.com/contact. And we had a lot of great questions last time. We've got a couple of questions that we're going to pour over into next one. I think next time I might even see if we can go for an hour and a half. I might ask him if it would be okay if we go from, instead of 7 to 8, maybe we could go from 7 to 8:30. And so I might ask him about that. We'll keep you posted, but we have one more. Also, by the time we have that, the 2 of his 3 debates will be over. There are also going to be 1, if not 2 debates scheduled for the 2nd and 3rd of October. So one of those debates, he's in no issue. The other one, they're giving him hassle. And so we'll keep you posted. So that's the 2nd and the 3rd. There's then a last debate like the 23rd or 24th of October. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. Clinton Hummel. I love that Clinton is such an outspoken force. I love it. Against solar. Yeah, I can't wait to see them on a debate together. I cannot wait to see them on a debate together. Rainwater has had his stance on cannabis for 4 or 5 years. McCormick has constantly, over this last year and a half, 2 years, said, we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. And then, like Thursday, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of last week, she released a cannabis statement. And it was his policy. It's basically his policy. So it's like, what the hell? So it floors me. All right. Before we end, I feel like I do have to mention the fact that Donald Trump was obviously the subject of apparently a second assassination attempt today in Florida while golfing. That brings the score to 0-2. 0-2. Assassins 0, Trump 2. They arrested this attempted assassin, so they actually have him in custody. How long this man will be alive will be interesting. You can place your bets in the right-hand corner in the chat box if you just want to list that's sad and it's sick to talk about, to joke about, but be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if he stays alive. Donald Trump announced that he was safe. Secret Service says that he is safe and well. West Palm Beach, Florida, Donald Trump was the target of what the FBI is calling an attempted assassination at his golf club in West Palm Beach on Sunday. Just 9 weeks after the first attempted assassination attempt. Former president said he was safe and well, and authorities have the man in custody. U.S. Secret Service agents posted a few holes up front where Trump was playing and noticed the muzzle of an AK or AR style rifle sticking through the shrubbery that lines the course roughly 400 yards away. The fact that a man with a gun is able to get 157 feet away in Butler, Pennsylvania, 400 yards away in West Palm Beach, Florida, with a gun to a former president and current candidate and one of two people that will be the presumptive future president is flipping insane. I don't care if you like Trump. I don't care if you hate Trump. I don't care if you're for or against him. No one should die for a political belief. Trump, no one should die for a political belief. And the fact that a man is able to get for a second time this close to a president with a gun is insane. An agent fired and the gunman dropped the rifle and fled in an SUV, leaving the firearm behind along with backpacks and a scope used for aiming along with a GoPro camera. The Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw said the man was later stopped by law enforcement and taken into custody in a neighboring county. He had a calm, flat demeanor and showed little emotion when he was stopped and didn't question why he was pulled over, according to Martin County Sheriff William Snyder. He never asked, "What's this about?" Obviously, law enforcement with long rifles, blue lights, and a lot going on. He never questioned it, Snyder said. It was the latest jarring moment in a campaign year marked by unprecedented upheaval. On July 13th, obviously, we're aware that Trump was shot during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Bullet grazed his ear. 8 days later, Democratic President Joe Biden withdrew from the race, giving way for Vice President Kamala Harris to become the party's nominee. And it was sure to add to the questions about Secret Service protective operations after the agency's admitted failures in preventing the attempted assassination of Trump this summer. In an email to supporters, Trump said that there were gunshots in the vicinity, but before rumors start spiraling out of control, I wanted you to hear first, I am safe and well. Nothing will slow me down. I will never surrender, which is exactly what you would want a leader to say. He returned to Mar-a-Lago, his private club in Palm Beach, where he lives, according to a person familiar with Trump's movements, who was not authorized to discuss them publicly and spoke on a condition of anonymity. It was not immediately clear whether the incident would affect his campaign schedule. He will speak from Florida about cryptocurrency live on Monday night on the social media site X for the launch of his son's crypto platform. He planned a town hall Tuesday in Flint, Michigan, with his former press secretary, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, followed by a rally Wednesday on New York's Long Island. And all of those apparently are still on. In an email to Trump, campaign staffers obtained by AP said, "This is not a matter that we take lightly. Your safety is always our top priority. We ask that you remain vigilant in your daily comings and goings. As we enter the last 50 days of President Trump's campaign, we must remember that we will only be able to save America from those who seek to destroy it by working together as one team." Biden and Harris were briefed and would be kept updated on the investigation. The White House said they were relieved to know that Trump is safe. Harris, in a statement, also said that violence has no place in America. In the aftermath, Trump checked in with allies, including running mate Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, and several Fox News hosts. Fox News host Sean Hannity recounted on air his conversation with Trump and the former president's golf partner, Steve Witkoff. They said they told Hannity that they had been on the fifth hole about to go up to putt when they heard pop, 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 pop. Within seconds, he said Witkoff recounted Secret Service agents pounced on Trump and covered him to protect him. Trump had returned to Florida this weekend from a West Coast swing that included Friday night rally in Las Vegas, Utah fundraiser. His campaign had not advised about any public plans for Trump on Sunday. He often spends the morning playing golf before having lunch at the club, one of 3 that he owns in the state. He has a stepped-up security footprint since the assassination attempt in July, when he has been at Trump Tower in New York. Parked dump trucks have been formed a wall outside the building. At outdoor rallies, he now speaks from behind an enclosure of bulletproof glass. The Florida golf course was partially shut down for Trump as he played, but there were several areas around the perimeter of the property where golfers are visible from the fence line. Secret Service agents and officers in golf carts and on ATVs generally secure the area several holes ahead and behind Trump when he plays. Agents also usually bring an armored vehicle onto the course to shelter Trump quickly should a threat arise. The Palm Beach County Sheriff said the entire golf course would have been lined with law enforcement if Trump were the president, but because he is not, security is limited in the area that the Secret Service deems possible. Deems to be a possible threat, I guess. They left that off. I would imagine the next time he comes to the golf course, there will be probably a little more people around the perimeter, Bradshaw said, but the Secret Service did exactly what they should have done. They provided exactly what the protection should have been, and their agents did a fantastic job. Former presidents and their spouses have Secret Service protection for life, but security around the former presidents vary according to the threat level and exposure, with the toughest typically being in the immediate aftermath of their leaving office. Trump's protective detail has been higher than some other former presidents because of his high visibility and his campaign to seek the White House again. The man in custody was Ryan Ruth. Three law enforcement officials told the AP the officials who identified the suspect spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation, of course. The FBI is leading the investigation and was working to determine any motive. Attorney General Merrick Garland received regular updates. Agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives were helping investigate. The FBI has responded to West Palm Beach, Florida, and investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination of former President Trump, the Bureau said. What's interesting here is this golf outing, while he generally golfs on Sundays, normally it's put on the calendar, and I have heard that this specifically was not on the calendar. So it's not like, for example, the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt. It had been planned, like it was known about several weeks in advance. This golf trip this morning was not on the president's schedule for this day. So to me, I'm not even going to say it. To me, that makes me have questions. Like, you know, if every Monday I go to my grandparents between 9 and 11 a.m., I don't do that. I'm just saying if that's what I do every Monday, and Sundays I don't, but this Sunday I happen to go and someone does something to me there, it's like, wait a minute, who would have known that to me, it just makes me wonder. I don't know, makes me wonder. So that's that. Yeah, from what I'm hearing, he did not fire his weapon. He did not fire his weapon. What I'm hearing is that the Secret Service saw the barrel and they fired into the area. Now, if you saw what he had posted, have you guys seen the picture of what was let me see here. I've got it. Yeah, right here. Okay. And I can share it here like this. Along with being hid by some just brush and crap, he had hung up bags on the fence to help kind of conceal himself. And you can see the gun there that then stuck through the fence. I mean, this is just a chain link fence. This is nuts. It's honestly amazing that the Secret Service did not hit him. It's really amazing. So, I don't know. Time will tell. They will look at this, dissect this over the next couple days and weeks, and then very much like the Butler assassination attempt, it will just off into thin air and no one will talk about it. And it'll just be a thing that occurred, and there won't be anything. Yeah, the ceramic tiles obviously are used to stop bullets. It's very much like the carrier in a bulletproof vest, ceramic plates and whatnot. That's why he did that. So, this is still looking for their ladder. So, all right, folks, that's going to do it for us for this Sunday night. I tell you what, bottom line, like the title says, I'm just sick of it. Sick of it all. Sick of it all. We've got decisions to make. We've got votes to cast. We've got ways forward, ways ahead, and obviously ways backwards. So you got to make sure that you're educated and do what you got to do to hopefully invest in yourself, invest in your future, invest in your life, invest in your family's life, invest in what you want. Your local government, your state government, your federal government to be. And if we are strong as a local, state, and federal government, I think that makes our position in the world strong, which then hopefully makes our position in the universe strong. Not like whatever the hell the current quote unquote Republicans are doing. That thing's a freak show. All right, you guys, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening. Have a great start back to the work week, and we will see you back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. like always. God bless each and every one of you. And yeah, goodbye. Good night. You know,